Good day to AlphaBest. As we embark on today's meeting, I want to greatly appreciate everyone for watching this video and for making time to be with us today. The video explains the services that Smartagriot provides and how we go about the digitization of the farms of smallholder farmers. I will show you how we are able to transition rural communities to regenerative farming practices, which do not only enable the production of healthy produce, reduce costs of farming, increase yields, but also lowers emissions of greenhouse gases and in turn play a significant role towards achievement of the country's National Determined Contribution (NDC) targets. Smartagriot was founded by women and by Jabulani Madlala as technical founder. The service that we offer to smallholder farmers and rural communities is called Carbon Farming as a Service. Sometimes we refer to it as done-for-you service for the purpose of its explainers. What this means is that we equip farmers living in rural communities with the inputs needed to start farming crops or vegetables or fruit trees. We then assign capable resources like extension officer, land use officer, and agronomist to each farmer. Each farmer is supervised until harvest stage of growth. The supervision including nutrients levels and macronutrients, pH, SOC, but focusing on NP and K, and the carbon of the soil is emphasized. With this model, we handhold each and every smallholder farmer all the way. In South Africa, there are agricultural economic challenges. Few commercial farmers benefit more from access to markets, while over 4 million smallholder, subsistence, cooperative, and backyard garden farmers get the crumbs of the market as a result to the lack of access to finance, education, modern farming skills, technologies, and modern mechanization. Land ownership is very much skewed as shown in this slide. We need to change this unacceptable scenario and commit to the transitioning process, the transformation of the agricultural sector. We need to measure how many smallholder farmers are becoming commercial farmers year-on-year basis. We use technologies including artificial intelligence-based 5th generation and global satellites that orbit closer to Earth to manage, measure, monitor the farms. Where do we start with the farming as a service process? It all starts with the digitization process. Without the digitization, we will not be able to provide the carbon farming services. We will not be able to use the technologies. What does digitization of the farms mean exactly? Simple answer to that question is that we need to first establish and know the farm boundaries, and we then need to know the field boundaries. Field boundaries are important when planting different type of crops or vegetables. For livestock farmers, we need to know the land or paddocks where the animals will be allowed to graze. It is really about establishing these boundaries in your farm. Our extension officer visit the farm, discuss with the landowner before drawing the boundaries. Communal land digitization involves transforming land ownership and usage records into a digital format, aiming to enhance transparency, accessibility, and management of communal lands. This process can help resolve disputes, prevent land grabbing, and empower local communities by providing them with clear documentation and secure access to their land rights. By utilizing technologies such as geographic information systems, GIS, and blockchain, digitization ensures accurate mapping and recording of land boundaries and ownership details, fostering better governance and sustainable development. This shift to digital records can also facilitate easier integration with governmental systems, thereby improving policy implementation and resource allocation for community development projects. Now we can view the historical and current data of the farm. All the data collected is now stored in the cloud for present and future generations of the farm owners. Each data collected is used to calibrate of the artificial intelligence models to better improve future predictions. We first physically analyze the soil on each farm to establish the needed baseline measurement. This will be compared with satellite data in the future, then calibrated accordingly using artificial intelligence models. Monitoring agricultural fields in regenerative farming involves utilizing a combination of traditional practices and modern technologies to enhance soil health, biodiversity, and ecosystem balance. By employing tools like drones, satellite imagery, and soil sensors, farmers can gather real-time data on crop growth, soil moisture, and nutrient levels. This information allows them to make informed decisions that promote sustainable practices like crop rotation, cover cropping, and reduced tillage, which are essential to regenerative farming. The goal is not only to improve crop yields, but also to restore and maintain the natural environment, ensuring long-term agricultural productivity and environmental health. Regenerative farming practices focus on restoring and enhancing the health of ecosystems, often prioritizing soil regeneration, biodiversity, and water management, while traditional farming practices typically emphasize maximizing crop yield through established methods, which can include monocropping and the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. Regenerative methods such as crop rotation, cover cropping, and reduced tillage aim to increase soil organic matter, improve water retention, and support biodiversity, thereby creating more resilient agricultural systems that can adapt to climate change and reduce environmental impact. In contrast, traditional practices may lead to soil degradation, reduced biodiversity, and increased greenhouse gas emissions over time. The shift towards regenerative agriculture seeks to balance productivity with environmental stewardship, offering a sustainable alternative to conventional farming techniques. Carbon farming is an innovative business model focusing on sustainable agricultural practices that enhance carbon sequestration in soil and plants. By adopting techniques like cover cropping, reduced tillage, agroforestry, and rotational grazing, farmers can capture atmospheric carbon and store it in the soil, thereby reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This model not only contributes to climate change mitigation, but also improves soil health and agricultural productivity. Businesses can generate additional revenue through carbon credits, which are sold to companies seeking to offset their carbon emissions. This approach creates a synergistic relationship between environmental sustainability and economic viability, providing incentives for farmers to adopt and maintain sustainable practices while contributing to global carbon reduction goals. Carbon farming involves agricultural practices aimed at increasing carbon sequestration in soils, which helps mitigate climate change by capturing atmospheric CO2. Establishing a carbon farming baseline is crucial. It refers to assessing the current level of carbon stored in a specific area before implementing carbon farming techniques. This baseline serves as a reference point to measure the effectiveness of new practices. Carbon projections, on the other hand, are estimates of future carbon sequestration potential based on these practices. They take into account factors such as soil type, climate, crop selection, and land management strategies. Accurate baselines and projections are essential for carbon credit systems and to ensure that farmers are rewarded for their efforts in enhancing soil carbon levels. Carbon farming is a sustainable agricultural practice focused on capturing atmospheric carbon dioxide through various land management techniques, thereby mitigating climate change. The life cycle of carbon farming begins with the assessment and selection of suitable practices such as cover cropping, agroforestry, and improved soil management. These practices enhance soil health and increase its organic carbon content. Implementation involves integrating these strategies into existing farming operations, followed by continuous monitoring and verification to ensure carbon sequestration is taking place effectively. The process also includes periodically adjusting practices to optimize carbon capture. Over time, carbon farming not only contributes to reducing greenhouse gases, but also improves soil fertility, water retention, and biodiversity, creating a resilient agricultural ecosystem. Carbon farming is an innovative approach to agriculture that aims to capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it in the soil, thereby reducing greenhouse gases and improving soil health. The organizational structure of a carbon farming initiative typically involves a collaborative network of farmers, scientists, environmental organizations, and government bodies. Farmers are often at the core, implementing practices such as cover cropping, no-till farming, and agroforestry. Scientists and agronomists provide research and technical support to enhance carbon sequestration techniques. Environmental organizations may offer funding, resources, and advocacy, while government agencies might establish regulatory frameworks and incentives to encourage participation. This multi-stakeholder structure facilitates the exchange of information, resources, and support needed to effectively implement and scale carbon farming practices. Regenerative farming is revolutionizing agriculture by focusing on improving soil health, enhancing biodiversity, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. By implementing practices such as cover cropping, no-till farming, and rotational grazing, regenerative farming aims to restore the natural balance of ecosystems, leading to more resilient crops and healthier food systems. This approach not only helps sequester carbon in the soil, thus combating climate change, but also improves water retention, reduces erosion, and enhances nutrient cycling. Additionally, regenerative farming supports biodiversity by creating habitats for diverse plant and animal species, leading to more robust and sustainable agricultural landscapes. Ultimately, this holistic approach not only benefits the environment but also improves farmer livelihoods by increasing productivity and reducing reliance on synthetic inputs. The viability of soil carbon projects hinges on their ability to effectively sequester carbon, enhance soil health, and provide economic benefits to participants. These projects aim to capture atmospheric carbon dioxide by promoting agricultural practices that increase organic matter in the soil, such as cover cropping, reduced tillage, and agroforestry. The success of these initiatives depends on various factors, including accurate measurement and verification of carbon sequestration, market demand for carbon credits, and policy support. Additionally, the projects must balance environmental benefits with the costs of implementation and maintenance, ensuring that they are financially sustainable for farmers and landowners. As awareness of climate change grows, soil carbon projects are increasingly recognized as a viable strategy for reducing greenhouse gas emissions while improving agricultural resilience and productivity. The theory of change in regenerative farming revolves around the idea that by implementing agricultural practices that restore and enhance the natural ecosystem, it is possible to improve soil health, increase biodiversity, and create more resilient food systems. This approach focuses on mimicking natural processes to build soil organic matter, capture carbon, and reduce dependency on chemical inputs, thereby leading to improved water retention, healthier crops, and increased yields over time. The ultimate goal is to create a sustainable and self-sufficient agricultural system that not only produces food, but also revitalizes the land and supports the surrounding environment, leading to long-term ecological balance and food security. By adopting regenerative practices, farmers can play a crucial role in combating climate change, enhancing biodiversity, and ensuring the well-being of future generations. The implementation of the carbon farming as a service is a journey. It requires patience, dedication, and reliable funding sources. Thank you for taking the time to engage with this presentation. Your attention is greatly appreciated, and we hope the information shared has been insightful and beneficial. Whether it sparked new ideas, provided clarity on a topic, or simply offered a fresh perspective, your participation is invaluable. We encourage you to take these insights forward and apply them in your respective fields. Once again, thank you for your time and interest.